Hi fans, I'm the PC Expert Amateur, and this is episode 24 of the airflow and pressure differential comparison of 120 millimeter fans. As always, I want to remind you that this is the anemometer that I use, and unfortunately it lacks the necessary precision for me to give you the actual airflow measurements in cubic meters per hour. However, it is sufficient for me to be able to rank the fans on airflow. I wish I had a better fan, but my financial situation is pretty bad. You may not understand because you see lots of computer stuff on my program regularly, but that's because I have a company that donates products to me. I don't get a lot of choices. It's very random. I never know what to expect. And so their search engine is really bad. And I only have one person who donates to me and has for about a year now. Thank you, Rudy. I really appreciate your continuing support. You are my bastion, I guess we could say. All right, so let's start off by letting you know that I've got a couple of interesting fans. Like last episode, I've got a fan that presents a little bit of a challenge in terms of the numbers, and that is the Cooler Master Mobius OC. This fan has 3 settings for speed, and since I use 2 different cables for low voltage or minimum voltage and maximum voltage, I came up with a lot more numbers than you might expect. And the problem is for the low and medium numbers, that's not a big deal, because if those numbers don't look perfect, that's fine. But for the maximum numbers, I really wanted to actually represent the maximum numbers of the fan. So if I have 3 RPM numbers for maximum that are different by thousands, then that drags it down toward the middle. Instead of showing what the maximum actually is. And I don't want that. I want you to know what the maximum actually is. So with that particular one, I had to be a little bit, not discreet, but I had to take the information I had and I had to remove from the chart anything that would negatively impact the maximums. But I'm going to share that with you right now just so you are aware of it. Okay, so the Cooler Master RPMs, the bare minimum on minimum voltage and the lowest of the 3 settings is 810. When I put it up to the medium setting, it really didn't make much of a difference. It went up to 910. And on the maximum setting, with still, again, with minimum voltage, it was still at 910. So it was not significant between minimum, medium, and maximum. The minimum at maximum voltage was 1620, the medium setting was 2470, and the maximum setting for RPMs was 3,330. Now the airflow in cubic meters per hour, minimum, the bare minimum with the minimum setting and the minimum voltage was 1.24 cubic meters per hour. The medium was 1.37, the maximum was 1.39. So again, not a big deal there. But the maximums is where we see significant differences. With the maximum voltage minimal, the minimal setting of the 3 on the switch is 2.37, medium was 3.49, and maximum with maximum voltage was 4.52. And then in the pressure differential category, we only have 3 readings because you can't get a maximum reading on a minimum voltage. That's against the rules that I use. So with the maximum voltage and the lowest setting, 67, medium setting, 73, and maximum setting, 83. So that is the Cooler Master Mobius OC, not the same as the Cooler Master Mobius that I did a couple of videos ago. This is the other one. It is the Silverstone SST-AP121-GL. And this one is different, not because of the 3-pin connector here, but because it also has, you can also power it with MolXD. And this is the MolXD connector, or it's an adapter. So you plug the 3-pin from the cable into one of these three sockets. And if you, I don't know if I can make it easy for you to see this or not, but each socket provides a different voltage. So we have 5, 7, and 12. And so I did each one. So I did the 5 first at minimum voltage, then the 7, and then the 12, and then I went to maximum voltage, did these 3 again. Fortunately, in this case, the differences were between 3-pin and MolXD, as with almost all of the fans that use multiple sources of electricity, was so minimal I didn't need to separate them or remove anything. It was fine. So it works a little bit differently when you have something like that versus a switch like the Mobius OC. And so that's, those are the first 2 fans, and those are the ones I wanted to let you know about. Then the third one is the True CP-fan-VPL, and they call this a high-performance fan. This fan was put out, I believe, several years ago, because several years ago probably they would have been able to argue that this is a high-performance fan. But in this day and age, this fan, as with all of the True's fans, can't hold a candle to the real high-performance fans. The fourth fan that we're going to look at today is from EN Labs, and this is actually a generic fan that EN Labs must have bought. It has no branding on it, and there are many other brands that sell exactly the same model. It is both 3-pin and MolXD. And finally, we have the Thermaltake Thunderblade. And these are basic LED fans. So that's what we're looking at today. I hope you find this interesting, a mixture of old and new. The Thunderblades are also pretty old. So let's go ahead and start looking at the data. Now I'm going to start by showing you the maximum RPMs for each of the fans. What I'd like you to do is in the comments, put which fan you think will have the highest airflow and which fan you think will have the highest pressure differential. There's no winning or losing here. It's just guessing, and it keeps a record for you so you can see if you're starting to get a feel for fans based on the data that you have available to you. And just a word of warning, RPMs are not the most important factor. They play a role, but they're not the only part of the equation. And so you can see it, the NLabs fan had a maximum of 1101.6, which is well below the minimum that it should have been. It should have been 1600 plus or minus 10%. So this fan, either they have misrepresented the fan, or more likely, well, not more likely, or equally likely, it's possible that the fan is simply damaged, or maybe even the fan, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's another possibility, but I can't really think of something that would be feasible at this point. So it should have been at 1600, which would have put it, higher up, lower down on the list, but the Vitru at 1265.3 put it slightly over the published rate. The Silverstone at 1578.6, the same. The Thermaltake at 1801.8, almost exactly on the money there. And then the Cooler Master, a maximum of 3,330, which put it a bit, a little bit there over the 3,200 that was published. So you can see some of the numbers for what you would expect with these fans. Or this fan, I'm sorry, using the setting switch. So please go ahead and write your guesses. And I'm sure that you guys all really were aware of the fact that NLabs being defective would not be the winner of this competition, or not competition, but guessing game. 114.9. The Silverstone at was just barely stronger than it. The Vitru was somewhat stronger than those. Not really significant, in my opinion. A difference of 13.2 is not really a big difference. The Thermaltake at 177.3. Now we're getting to the point in the numbers where the numbers are getting distorted. With those first 3 fans, those numbers are probably fairly accurate, but I can't guarantee that. Then finally, the Thermaltake actually, is a good fan, but it can't beat the Cooler Master OC at 271.2. So did you get that one correct? For those of you who are familiar with fans, you probably realized that this would be the one. And finally, we can see that again, the N-Labs was the worst at 40. The Vitru did significantly better at 57 and was almost tied with the Silverstone. The Thermal Take did 70.5, which is respectable. It's probably going to put that in the fourth quartile. And the Cooler Master got it to 83, which is definitely within the fourth quartile. So let's go ahead and see where these fans place within the larger list. All right, so we can see that damaged N-Labs fan did really, really, really poorly, putting it in fourth place at 400 or so above the Kingwin, our reigning champion of low RPMs. The True, no, but the difference is the Kingwin isn't damaged. The Vitru came in the first quartile also. So it's, it's okay. Let's scroll down a bit here and see what else we can find. Let me give you some more space to view things. There we go. And we can see that the Silverstone is in the second quartile, sandwiched between the Geometric Future 2503R Squama and the Thermalright TL RS12. So that's not too bad. The Thermal Take looks to be in the third quartile. Yeah, putting it between the Lamptron Rigel and the B-Gears B-Flexi 120. And wow, I didn't expect the Cooler Master to get this far down on the list. That's pretty impressive. It is at 3330. But again, keep in mind, RPMs are not the most important thing. They do have a closer relationship to noise than other things, but there are ways to reduce noise production by adjusting the design of the primarily, I think, the frame and the blades. So let's go ahead and look at pressure differential. And we can see again, as with previous videos, the Lamptron Nova is the worst with only 20 degrees. The N-Lab is double that, but still it's only in the first quartile, so it really doesn't compare to the other fans. It's a shame that they didn't actually send me one that worked correctly. N-Labs, if you see this, I would love to get a better piece of this fan in my inventory, even if it is an old generic fan. The Vitru actually is in the second quartile, doing pretty well there between the Sama YF1203i and the Alpha Cool Move 2, 1300 RPM. And then in the third quartile, I believe the Silverstone did pretty well also. The Thermal Take, definitely in the fourth quartile, along with the Cooler Master, which again is ranking very highly. So that's really interesting. Let's look at the airflow now. Okay, we're going to get that switched. No, I don't have any idea why I said we're going to get that switched. I'm the one that does that. I don't have a team. All right, the King one again is at the bottom of the list with 70.2 CMHs. The N-Lab and Silverstone and Vitru are also in the first quartile with it. None of them doing particularly well. And, to be fair, the N-Labs, the Silverstone is an older fan, the Vitru is an older fan, but there are older fans on this list that also did really, really well. And in the third quartile, we have the Thermal Take doing pretty well. It's between the Monisun and the Shenzhen Wetter Air 12025. And, the Cooler Master didn't do quite as well on the airflow. It's still within the top 10, I believe that is. Yes, I believe that's number 10 on the list at 271.2, but a far cry from the top contenders from Delta, Young Yihao, and Key Fan Club. So now I'll just scoot over here so you can see the RPMs again, and you can take a look and see if you can spot any patterns. I'll go back up to the top, and there we go. So just go ahead and take a look. You'll see some fans up here that have fairly high RPM, such as the Asia Horse Cosmic RE at 2,130, and yet not so impressive when it comes to airflow, and not really that impressive either with the pressure differential. And see some other ones like the Tusser Prism 4 reversed. Then we get down here and we can see, even though the thermal take has lower RPMs than some of these fans, it's holding its own. That's the third quartile, I believe, and here's the fourth quartile. So I hope that this has been helpful for you, and if you're looking to buy some fans. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them down in the comments below, and I'll see if I can answer them for you. I call myself the expert amateur for a reason. I don't have all the answers. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.
I need to ask for your help. Things have been challenging. Whose life hasn't been challenging lately? So if you can please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications, that would be really, really super. Also, if you'd like to help me financially and you can't afford to, you can do a super thanks on my Glenn's Fast Reviews channel, or you can become a member there. Or if you prefer, you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII and become a member there instead. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Bleeping Computer for their support of my channel. If you need resources for computers, for getting rid of malware and learning about cybersecurity and stuff, Bleeping Computer, BLEEPING computer.com is a great resource. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.